Welcome to Boxing Revival. In this video, I have ranked the top 10 best boxers of the 2000s decade. I have also listed down the honorable mentions, the boxers who just missed the cut, but contributed greatly in the decade. You will see boxers not on this list, although they have won titles in this decade, they may be past their primes, and started piling up losses. Or maybe their careers is just starting, and the best years of their careers was in the next decade. This rankings is purely based on their performance and records in the 2000s decade. So let's take a look where this boxers rank in the best of the 2000s decade. At number 10, Omar, the Hurricane Narvaez. The Argentine boxer was a former two-division world champion. He held the WBO flyweight title from 2002 to 2010 to become the longest reigning flyweight champion in history. And he held the WBO super flyweight title from 2010 to 2014, making 11 successful defenses. Narvaez was one of the best flyweights of the modern era. At number 9, Eric Morales. Nicknamed El Terrible, the Mexican warrior was a three-division champion in the decade. He held the WBC super bantamweight title from 1997 to 2000, the WBC featherweight title twice, from 2001 to 2003, and the WBC and IBF super featherweight titles in 2004. He was known for exciting trilogies with Manny Pacquiao and Marco Antonio Barrera. Morales was one of the most toughest and entertaining boxers from Mexico. At number 8, Vladimir Klitschko. Nicknamed Dr. Steelhammer, the Ukrainian boxer was a two-time heavyweight world champion. Together with his brother Vitaly, they dominated the heavyweight division of the 2000s decade, also known as the Klitschko era. Despite the weak heavyweight division of his era, Vladimir Klitschko proved that he is one of the very best heavyweight champions of all time. At number 7, Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto is considered to be one of the greatest Puerto Rican boxers of all time. He is WBO light welterweight champion from 2004 to 2006, and is a two-time welterweight champion, holding the WBA title from 2006 to 2008, and the WBO title in 2009. His biggest wins was against Shane Mosley and Zab Judah. At number 6, Marco Antonio Barrera. The Mexican baby-faced assassin was a three-division world champion, holding the super bantamweight, featherweight, and the super featherweight titles. In 2001, he gave Prince Nazim Hamed the first and only loss of his career. Marco Antonio Barrera was considered as one of the best boxers from Mexico. At number 5, Juan Manuel Marquez. Dinamita Marquez was one of the best counterpunchers in boxing history. He held the WBA and IBF featherweight titles from 2003 to 2005, the WBC super featherweight title from 2007 to 2008, and the ring and lineal lightweight titles from 2008 to 2010. He is considered to be the greatest Mexican boxer by the BOXERS. At number 4. Bernard, the Executioner Hopkins. The American boxer was an ageless warrior, having one of the longest careers in boxing. Hopkins was one of the greatest middleweight champion of all time, reigning as middleweight champion from 1995 to 2005, and in 2004, became the undisputed champion, after defeating Oscar De La Hoya. He also reigned as the ring light heavyweight champion from 2006 to 2008. Before we move to the top 3, let's take a look at our honorable mentions. The boxers who contributed greatly during the decade. In this list is the Thailand's great, Phongsaklek Wonjongam. The Thai boxer was the WBC and lineal flyweight champion from 2001 to 2007, making 17 successful title defenses against 16 different boxers, both a flyweight division record. He was considered as one of the best flyweights of the modern era. Also in this list is the other half of the Klitschko era, Vitaly Klitschko. Dr. Iron Fist was a 3-time heavyweight champion in the decade. He has one of the highest knockout percentage in heavyweight history, and also has durable chin, never been knocked down in his career. The only setback about Klitschko was his injuries, that forced him to retire for almost 3 years. A significant amount of time, while he was in his prime. Next is another Mexican warrior, Israel Vázquez. He was the other half of that epic 4-fight slugfest with Rafael Marquez. He is a 3-time super bantamweight champion, holding the IBF title from 2004 to 2005, and the ring, WBC, and lineal titles twice from 2005 to 2008. Up next is the Mexican Rafael Marquez. He was known for his epic 4-fight battle with Israel Vázquez. He is the IBF bantamweight champion from 2003 to 2007, and the WBC, the ring, and lineal super bantamweight champion in 2007. Up next is the Indonesian Dragon, Chris John. He held the WBA featherweight title from 2004 to 2013, the second longest reign in the division. The biggest win of his career was against Juan Manuel Marquez in 2006. But the setback about the career of Chris John was that he almost fought exclusively in his hometown Indonesia. Up next is Puerto Rico's little great champion, Ivan Calderon. Calderon was a great defensive boxer, winning world titles in 2 divisions. He held the WBO minimum weight title from 2003 to 2007, making 11 successful defense. And the WBO, the ring, and lineal light flyweight titles from 2007 to 2010. Also in this list is the Raging Bull, Vic Darchinyan. Darchinyan was a southpaw boxer with a unique fighting style. He held the IBF flyweight title from 2004 to 2007, becoming the first Armenian to win a world title. He also held the unified WBA, WBC, IBF, and the lineal super flyweight titles between 2008 and 2010. Up next is the Tijuana Tornado, Antonio Margarito. The Mexican boxer was a three-time welterweight champion in the decade. He held the WBO title from 2002 to 2007, the IBF title in 2008, and the WBA title from 2008 to 2009. Margarito gave Miguel Cotto and Kermit Cintron their first career losses, though he was involved in the illegal hand wrap scandal. Also in this list is Ronald Winky Wright. He is a former two-time light middleweight champion. Winky Wright won the IBF title in 2001 and reigned as the undisputed light middleweight champion in 2004, with back-to-back wins over Shane Mosley. However, he only fought 6 times from 2005 to 2009, losing his last 2 fights. Next is the American Sugar, Shane Mosley. Mosley started the decade with a win over De La Hoya for the WBC and linear welterweight titles. He was the pound-for-pound king from 2000 to 2001. But he suffered consecutive losses against Fernand Forrest and Winky Wright before winning the WBA and linear welterweight titles in 2009. Also in this list is Oscar, the Golden Boy De La Hoya. He was on this list because he became the first boxer in history to win titles in 6 different divisions when he won the WBO middleweight title in 2004. He is also a 2-time light middleweight champion in the decade. But overall, De La Hoya suffered 5 losses in his final 12 fights. Also in this list is England's hitman, Ricky Hatton. Hatton was the Boxing Writers of America Fighter of the Year in 2005. After his impressive win over Kostya Tszyu to claim the IBF, the ring, and lineal light welterweight titles. He held the lineal and the ring titles until 2009. Hatton also won the WBA welterweight championship in 2006, making him a 2-division champion. But Hatton also suffered 2 big losses against Mayweather in 2007 and Pacquiao in 2009. And the last of the honorable mentions list, Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones' best years was in the 1990s, but he was also great in the early part of the decade. He was the undisputed light heavyweight champion from 1999 to 2004. And in one of the greatest moments of his career, he won the WBA heavyweight title in 2003. But he suffered 5 losses for the rest of the decade, beginning of an end to a legendary career. At number 3. Joe Calzaghe. The Pride of Wales was a 2-division world champion. He reigned as a super middleweight champion from 1997 until 2007, when he unified the WBO, WBA, WBC, and the ring titles. He defeated Bernard Hopkins in 2008 to hold the ring light heavyweight championship, and defended it against Roy Jones Jr. before retiring as undefeated champion. Calzaghe was considered to be the greatest super middleweight and the greatest European boxer of all time. At number 2. Floyd Mayweather Jr. The flamboyant American was named as the 2007 Fighter of the Year by the Boxing Writers of America. He was also the top-grossing fighter of all time. He won titles in 5 divisions throughout the decade, winning over Diego Corrales, Zab Judah, Ricky Hatton and Oscar De La Hoya. But he retired for almost 2 years from 2007 to 2009, that's why he was beaten for the number 1 ranking in this decade. At number 1. Manny Pacquiao. The pride of the Philippines was virtually unknown when he stormed every division throughout the decade. Starting from the super bantamweight, featherweight, super featherweight, lightweight, light welterweight, and the welterweight in 2009, becoming the first boxer to win titles in 7 different divisions, before breaking that record with 8 divisions in the next decade. Pacquiao was the 2006, 2008, and 2009 The Ring and Boxing Writers of America Fighter of the Year, and was named as the 2000s Fighter of the Decade, to cement his name as one of the greatest boxers of all time. This is boxing. Boxing lives on. Continue to support this beautiful and exciting sport. Thank you for watching. For more boxing stories, boxing fights, and boxing news, subscribe on this channel. Click the notification bell for more updates. Because in this channel, together we will revive the boxing world.